in the shit is that? As much as I can zoom in. It's gone. I've literally just stopped the car to go and see what that was. I think it was a balloon, in all honesty, but it was flying past me and it looked like one of those space robot guys, you know, like the stormtrooper balloon. It looked like that, but it moved really fast. No idea. Probably a balloon.
Ollie just sent me a video a few weeks ago of a balloon. It was so bad we didn't share it on Third Phase of Moon. And you know,
I said it was a balloon.
Well, why are you sending it to me then?
Because we're friends on Facebook, so I just sent you. I literally pulled up in the car.
Balloon videos.
I didn't ask you to put it in your channel, did I?
Oh, okay. Why are you wasting my time? Like a lot of people wasting my time with videos that we don't.
Listen, Blake.
You sent it to me, bro.
Blake, don't come round here with your big bollocks, right? I sent you that just as like friendship, right?
Okay. The fact I thought you wanted me to put it up on Third Phase.
No. Did I say it to you, Blake? Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict on this fine and big bollocks evening. I don't think YouTube picks up on big bollocks anyway. But yes, it's here. I've made a piece of merch just for Christmas because of Blake and Brent. Because I told him not to come round with his big bollocks. And yeah, it's there. So for a limited time only, head on over. The description is below. Speaking of big bollocks, Lee.
Hi.
How fucking loud was that audio?
That was awful. Like, I had to turn it down. Yeah.
I did. I was like, shit.
It broke my head.
Oh, God. Jesus. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Did you know what? I'd forgotten how fucking like pompous and aggressive Blake got about that fucking balloon video.
Well, I just wanted to show. He's like, you sent me an image of a balloon. I said in the actual video while I'm filming it, I think it's a balloon.
He was probably thinking, "Fuck me, that's a good fake." If he starts putting those on his channels, we're fucked.
I still don't know what that was.
Well, I think it's a drone, and it looks like a drone.
It's just a long thing, but it just moved. It was quite fast for a balloon, but it could have well been a balloon. I thought I debunked myself. Oh, thank you very much, Lisa Bowden, for the $3 super chat. I appreciate it, and that is one
strong start.
Yes, it is a strong start, Lee. I sound like Sean Connery then. And she sent me a lemon. All I need is a gin with that. Lee. What are we doing to the... I feel like between us, like a bunch of little bitches that are just like adding so much drama to the field. Now, I didn't get it. I didn't get
man talk about fucking spacemen, so you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, are you still into the subject as much as you were?
Do you know what, right? I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but we ended up talking about conspiracies and stuff like that. And they said I can't remember what came up. It was something I wasn't into anyway. And someone was telling me, I said, yeah, but you do like loads of conspiracy stuff. And they started talking about aliens. And I said, well, so do you know what the really weird thing is? I said, since I started like being friends with Ollie and doing like the Alien Addict show and Rich and speaking to people like Third Phase of Moon and stuff, people like that, I thought, because I came in as a believer in these things had aliens in them. That's when we first did our interview. Like it was, I think when you first came on Must See Audio, it must have been around when like the gimbal dropped or something like that. You know, that must have been that
It was
first
roundabout.
video.
It was about that sort of time, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I had to get you on because UFO Jesus said no. But
you asked Jesus first.
You gotta ask Jesus. But I thought, especially when I started coming on this show regularly and speaking to other people regularly, I thought I would get more
Aliens?
into it. Yeah. I thought someone would have come forward, you know, like on one of your shows or something, and like dropped a video that I'd never seen before, you know, or something like you know, like a nugget of fucking information somewhere that's just tremendous. But like the more I've been like here is the less evidence there is of anything. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, and thank you, Lisa, again for another super stick. I appreciate it. Loving the lemons. Is that one a lemon? I think, Lee, the problem is, I think the problem's us, and I don't mean alien addicts, the goofons, the truth seekers, security team 10's third phase of moon. I just mean the whole community. Everybody wants you to believe their story, and I think what I mean by that, so when you speak to somebody that thinks they've seen something in the sky, or thinks somebody's told them a story and it's being passed down, they will hold on to that like, you know, it's solid gold. They will not let it go. And what happens with the field is that people will then get manipulated into that same bit of grabbing hold of the gold, and they'll want to keep hold of it. It's almost, it's magical, because it is, because there are no elves and orcs, and well, maybe there are. You know, now I'm starting to believe that
maybe it's all the same thing.
But there's no well, maybe there are fairies. You know what I mean? There's no Santa Claus, but there is aliens.
There's definitely a Santa Claus. Just in case there's any children happen to watch this live stream, there's definitely a Santa Claus. You're
for 18.
Just yeah. Look, nobody cares about that on YouTube. Just saying, he doesn't visit you because you're naughty.
There is definitely Christmas, and go buy yourself a T-shirt for Christmas.
Alien Addict debunks Christmas. Not being part of that.
No, but as an adult, that's what you can hold on to. You can hold on to ufology, but you lost everything else as a kid, all of it.
Kind of. It's like it's. I know you still get slight side eye when talking about UFOs and aliens and stuff from like a good portion of people. I'm not sure if it's a majority, but it's definitely a portion of people. But it is the most socially acceptable conspiracy theory. You know, like if you want to talk about a ridiculed conspiracy theory, we just did a podcast the other day with Orphan Red, and we talked about flat Earth, like among other things, for like 4 hours. You can't rock around and talk about flat Earth and expect people not to laugh at you.
And I really did try and politely probe her. You know what I mean, on the flat Earth, I tried to kind of like not make a fool of her or anything like that, but I tried to get her to make mistakes. And she didn't make any mistakes because she wasn't like your normal flat earther. She's
No, that was one of the reasons I thought that show was really interesting. If anyone wants to go and listen to the first half of that, the first half of it is on Must See Audio right now. The second half of it will be going up on. It'll either be this weekend or this coming Wednesday. It depends how shows work out, because we're gonna we've got an Alien Addict to do next Thursday, haven't we?
We have indeed.
So
Yes.
that 2-parter might sort me out chronologically. But yeah, the first half of that interview is up on Must See Audio now, so you can find that on all podcast apps. That's there waiting for you.
But she believed in aliens.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not a flat earther, but I think aliens make more sense on flat Earth than they do on a globe Earth.
How?
Because the idea of extra land, isn't it? There's the idea of extra land and extra civilizations. Because essentially, well, I mean, let's be perfectly honest.
But not aliens coming from space.
No.
Because we're trapped in the.
Well, it just means that essentially, like, if you, I mean, there's no evidence of any of this, so it's just a fucking mind exercise at this point. But if you believe that there's other land beyond the poles, if you believe that there's maybe I often thought there was, or suggested that one of the possibilities, not thought, that she didn't think there was, it was just one of the theories that she had, that there would be extra pools. So the disc that we live on, there'd be like many of those dotted around like an ice plane, which goes on for fucking infinity, a bit like space, I suppose. But the idea would be that essentially all you really need to do there is make really good conventional aircraft, because you're staying within atmosphere. You know, you would be pond hopping rather than galaxy hopping. So in that respect, if you can allow yourself to entertain those ideas, then the idea that there could be different civilizations which have evolved differently with different creatures on them, it would be easier to pond hop than galaxy hop.
You see, I get flat earthers. I really do, and I've said this
I
for
know
a long.
You do.
No, I do. I get them.
I know. We all know. We all know.
I am not a closet flat earther.
Yeah.
You know, I just like I like to dabble in the subject, and I really enjoyed the conversation with Orphan Red.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was going to say is
Philip Schofield was happily married as well for a while.
He interviewed a flat earther.
He was well in the closet.
Did you see the interview?
I did.
He's like,
I mean, like he's a fucking cunt, that guy. Anyway, not the flat earther, Philip Schofield, cunt.
Do you know what I mean, though, Lee? I get them. I completely get why you wouldn't trust what's being told up in space for the very little that we see.
I've read Eric DeBay's book. I can't remember what it's called. I've read, I know it didn't start off as a book. It started off as YouTube clips, didn't it? But then it was eventually put into a book, which was Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues. I've read that.
I just don't put that guy down as the leader of anything, though, Mark Sargent.
I like him. I think he'd be a nice guy. Yeah, I think if you
just want to interview him,
I'd love to interview him. Yeah. But I just think he comes across as being, he just comes across as a nice bloke. But
not a leader. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's what the internet makes itself, isn't it? But what I think Flat Earth is a collection of other conspiracies. It's a collection of different odd things, like the fact you can take infrared photographs further than you probably should be able to. Like there is, I would say, depending on which footage you're looking at, 100% certainty, at least some of what we see from the ISS is faked. Like there is like some of those videos are 100% interfered with.
Yeah, I
And
would
that doesn't.
definitely agree there.
I'm not saying the ISS isn't up there. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is definite fuckery going on there, and that could just be something to do with national security. Wouldn't it make sense that if there was something going on up there, that what we seen down here was a sanitized version of it? Surely that makes sense. So what I think flat Earth is, it's kind of these things of like
Covered up.
that, and then someone's gone, oh no, not even just that. It's like, and someone's gone, oh, but the fucking moon land, we didn't go to the moon. The fucking ISS is fake, and then this and that. We can see further. And what's grown out of that is the flat Earth theory. So I'm not sure if it's just like how the people go on about like the unified conspiracy theory that there's a grand conspiracy theory that just bubbles everything from Bigfoot to UFOs to Hollow Earth. I think that's kind of what flat Earth is. It's took on all these other conspiracy theories and just cobbled them together, and that's the answer that's come out.
There's one thing with UFOs. There is evidence of UFOs. There's no. I would say there's no. Like,
is there?
Yes, there's definitely. You've seen one yourself.
No, I've seen a light in the sky.
A UFO. That's a UFO.
So,
an unidentified flying object. I didn't say you'd seen a spacecraft.
Unidentified to me, though. Who knows fuck all about things in the sky?
What about all the paintings? Forget the pictures. All the old paintings that draw the same weird.
There's paint with dragons in them.
Because there was probably dragons.
Oh,
No, there probably was.
maybe, but there's paintings with Batman in.
I mean, think about it. Let's just stop on dragons there for a second.
I'm so happy I haven't got the laptop open because I bet I'm getting destroyed in your comment section right now.
It's okay. I can't read.
It's okay.
I could see. Shogun said me and Lee agree on something. There you go.
Nice. Okay, maybe I'm not.
I don't know what the earlier comments were. They were probably
no. It's like fucking burn him.
Open your laptop. You're supposed to help me out with the comments. You.
I'm talking to you, though, aren't I? Usually I do that when you're talking to other people.
No, I mean, yeah, pictures of dragons. So those pictures of dragons before we found dinosaur bones.
There's conspiracy in that as well.
I know there is. There's a lot of people.
I was watching a thing the other day, and it was, if you take all the other stuff out of it, when someone turns around and says that we started finding dinosaur bones all over the world at the same time, and how was there no dinosaurs found before that? It's quite strange.
Maybe they couldn't find them.
No,
have you ever found a fossil?
What?
You ever found a fossil? Yeah, I found loads of fossils. Loads.
Yeah.
I used to go fossil hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But never found a dinosaur bone.
No, but you talk about like well-settled areas, that have been dug and built upon. It wasn't like Wild West days, and all of a sudden they dug 100 foot and found a bone. They found things at like reasonably low depths that you would have thought, would have been sort of scraped up beforehand. I don't know, not biologist.
See, the thing that when it comes to ancient aliens and people saying that they've been around ever since like the dinosaurs, and maybe they wiped the dinosaurs out, that sort of thing, I just like, why?
It's terraforming to put us here.
To create us.
You can't. You couldn't go and make, because realistically, right? Apart from brains, and the fact we had to evolve in some fashion as well, we're pretty fucking useless. If you stick us on our own, we're shit. We need tools. If you give us tools and time to prepare, we can pretty much fuck anything up, given enough time. you can.
We destroy things.
Yeah, but if you throw us in at the deep end, create us and send us on our way with fucking like bus-sized lizards going around, we're not lasting very long. So we need.
I don't think man and dinosaur would have mixed very well.
I don't think that it makes well. It's well, mind you. I mean, we have fossils in mud, don't we? Of which look like people tracking dinosaurs. I think that's fucking wild. That picture.
Pottery with
there is well, there is fucking artwork, isn't there? From like I don't know. I'm not even going to say what century it is because I can't fucking remember. But it's like a war piece, and if you look down into the valley of the war piece, it has people riding like brachiosaurs.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this before.
Yeah, we spoke about it. It was on Must See Audio. We were talking about it.
Dino Riders.
History's a mystery. There's the idea that we right now know what's going on in our universe, on our planet, in our oceans, in our timeline, that we know this to like 100% certainty, or even fucking 20% certainty, is nothing more than like human arrogance with just the hubris to say we're clever. Yesterday people were stupid. Now we're clever today. And we don't think for a split second that tomorrow those people might think we're stupid today.
Was it on your show that you were talking about those buildings that have underground parts where the windows
Mudflood
face
buildings?
Out?
Yeah, that's I'm constantly dipping in and out of that. Like it takes me a while to research things to the point where I feel like I can talk on them. I don't think I can talk very well on mudflood stuff now.
Has anyone disproven it?
I don't think so.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has.
Oh fuck! I'd rather get my science from Mike deGrasse Tyson. Thank
you, Jennifer.
He's I don't know. I was again because we did the that show with Orphan Red, and because Google is dead creepy. All I've been getting in my suggestions for YouTube videos at the minute is Eric DeBay. So I've watched a few of those while I've been having coffee in the afternoon.
I mean, Lee, I don't know about you, but I'm not clever enough to explain the flight paths of. But if you look at it, it looks.
It's pretty simple. If you transpose the flight paths from country to country on a globe map, and you transpose them on a flat Earth map, they seem to be straight lines on the flat Earth map, but on the globe one, they're like fucking zigzagging all over the place to fucking refuel, and it looks like, why are we doing this? And there's even there's reports. I can't remember which one it was.
See, I haven't dabbled that much into flat Earth, Lee. So you're telling me you've looked at these flight paths?
I had to, didn't I? Because I've done two podcasts already with two different flat earthers.
But you have three now.
But that's for me. Like Orphan Red was my trilogy of flat earthers. There was
she was the tipping point.
Yeah, there was 007 before that. Fucking wanker. And then there was my friend Righty, who I had a great podcast with. But obviously, like, especially the one with Righty, I wanted to go in. I didn't want to sit there for 2 hours being explained to about something. I wanted to have a reasonable knowledge of it before he walked in. So yeah, I did fucking loads of research into flat Earth. I don't know, because this, like, the thing is,
so just hold. So what Jennifer's saying there. So if you spread out the globe, yeah.
No,
and
if
you look at the flight plans,
not just like spread it out, but put it on the disc. You know, the azimuthal
Right.
equidistant map, I think it's called, as a muffle projection. I can't remember what it's called. They're straight lines. But what I'll caveat that with is it's always the ones that flat earthers bring up are the straight lines ones. I have no fucking idea if all of the flight paths work like that. So again, it could just be the fact that it's people trying to either prove their point or con people essentially into believing what they believe or what they want you to believe. But there is definitely flight paths that seem to make more sense on the azimuthal equidistant map. I hope that's what it's called.
Muffled equidistant map. That is a mouthful.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. But there's definitely ones.
I hope he's saying it wrong, and we're going to get loads of flat Earth comments going. It's pronounced.
I think they give me a break on this one because I'm kind of, for someone that doesn't believe in flat Earth, I'm kind of fighting their corner. I'm fighting the corner here. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's disproven them, but there are definitely ones that work. There's definitely flight paths that work better on the flat Earth projection than they do on the what we look at as the globe right now.
I need to get some flat earthers on. I really do.
I think you should get Orphan Red on. I think she'd be great in your channel.
I think what I want to do, I'd want to get the two NASA guys on.
With her?
With your mate,
Righty. That'd be an absolute cracker. Right, he's desperate. When I said there was a chance of getting him on with a guy that worked for NASA that was worked on the ISS, he was fucking more than down for it, and that motherfucker would be ready. What's going on?
See, I don't know. I mean, those two NASA guys, they're nice guys. That was weirdly.
It was, wasn't it?
And I've met Orphan Red. I've listened to your podcast with Righty, and they seem like a nice lady and a nice guy. I think it would be nice to actually see and be a part of a podcast, whatever video live stream where two non-flat earthers can actually get on with two flat earthers and just discuss it. Here's the reason why.
I don't believe your man.
That's possible.
What was his name? The guy that was the NASA guy that was on. Was his name Dave as well?
James.
I don't think he'd do it.
You don't?
No.
What about what's his name? Lovely guy. Max.
Don't know. Not sure. But I'm only going off the Stonewall answer I got when I said about the ISS footage that looked like sketch.
I mean, let's be honest, that will blow have the whole third phase.
Yeah.
That will be gone.
Yeah, so that's I think the dust has settled. Dust.
Did you see the dog toy, by the way?
I did see the dog toy.
Yeah. Rich, if you're watching, because we've been having
he was in the comments. He's in the comments before.
Yeah, it's a dog toy. It's 100% a dog toy.
But you don't know what planet the dog toy was from. Oh fuck.
Just dropped my son's pencils. Never mind. As long as they're not broken. Yeah, you don't know what, but Rich said to me, you can't prove it's a dog toy. I can't prove it's a dog toy. But if it looks like a dog toy, smells like a dog toy, it's possibly a dog toy. Also, it's the same. It was the same house. For anybody who's in the chat that might not know what I'm talking about the reflection. We found out, which I couldn't be bothered to do a video of, but we found out that there was a video a few days earlier in the same house. I think it was a day earlier. In the day, with the same guy who's talking in the background of the reflection from Third Phase of Moon. He's presenting his finding to Blake, which was a picture of what looks like a dog toy, and then the camera pans down and you can see this dog toy. And I just said to Rich, I'm pretty sure that Blake and Brent are leaving Easter eggs. I think it's some sort of genius.
If it's a bit, great. Like that'd be fucking hilarious.
What, like in 10 years' time, this is what we did.
I don't think it's a bit, because I don't think they're that good at acting.
Have you seen the movies? Great actors.
Saw clips. Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, I'm not kind of over it.
You came around how long now? How long have we been doing this?
2 years, 3 years, maybe.
Nearly 3. But it's been what?
Was it? Did we start doing this before the Great Plague?
I think we may have just met when it all started.
Yeah, when it was bubbling up. I think. Oh no, yeah, of course, because I think I got you on Musty Audio when it dropped through lockdown, because there was a thing. Was it a New York Post article? Was it a Post article that came out through lockdown?
That came out during lockdown, yeah.
Yeah, because there was definitely something at that time where I was, because I hadn't really done any Skype interviews with people at that time. So the only reason I'd have been ready and set up to do Skype, and to be perfectly honest, thinking about because I can't remember doing it, but I remember how my studio was set up at the time, and I'd moved my studio around away from being, because this room used to be more like or you'd think of a podcast studio, because I used to have lots of people around like doing podcasts with me. So
you have a big table in there.
Big table. Well, yeah, that's what I'm sat in front of, but this is now in front of the window, and it's just set up for like one person to do stuff on, because I do so much stuff online. So yeah, and I had it in a solo studio setup, so it must have been when nobody was coming around.
But like when you first started interviewing me, you were asking, I think I was well on the bandwagon with TTSA.
Yes, yeah.
I would like to find. You'll have to send me that first interview. I'll have to put it on Alien Addict, because
yeah, absolutely.
I'll play some clips, because I'm pretty sure that I'm like, I won't say balls deep in TTSA, but I think I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, I think we were both there on that, because even at the time, I think we definitely had the discussion of the early buy-in was like $100, wasn't it? You could the lowest you could go in was $100.
Yes.
And my point was, it was worth the gamble, because nothing will probably come out of it. But even $100, if the technology that comes out of it defies fucking gravity, then that $100 is fucking Bitcoin to the moon, early days.
Did you ever look at it and think, I trust this?
I don't know. It depends, because for me, TTSA, the wheels fell off that with the Rogan interview with Tom DeLonge, where you just thought, this is fucking odd.
That for me, that destroyed it. That
it destroyed DeLonge and his position within that company. And then there was always that I keep meaning to read Secret Machines. I keep meaning to do it.
You should, if you can read. For anybody in the chat that can read,
I'll be perfectly honest, I'll probably listen to it rather than read it. But
if it's an audio version, I need to listen to that.
Of course, it'll be an audio version. Audible's got fucking everything now. Audible's amazing. Please sponsor our show.
I mean, there's people saying Osvaldo Franco. I mean, Osvaldo Franco, as much as I feel bad for Oz because
I feel bad for us.
He's got so much faith in.
Look, I know I had my little spat with him on here, which is I think that was the last time he was on. But like that didn't come from a point of malice. That just came from a point of being sick of having my fucking time wasted. And it's
Not by us.
Yeah, no, by us.
Oh, you mean us? Okay.
Yeah. No, by us, because every time he came on your show, you would sit here, he would dominate a conversation. He would say absolutely nothing apart from just wait. I've seen stuff. You just wait. Just 2 more months. 2 months is just around the corner.
Because he was repeating.
The corner never came.
Yeah, but he was repeating what
because he'd been conned.
A lot of what UFO Twitter and Instagram and what have you were all saying.
Oh yeah,
Reddit posts about TTSA.
It's fucking you can't even say it still on YouTube, can you? Like the letter anonymous.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing with fucking that. It's trust the plan. The Patriots are in control. Everything that happens can be drawn back to that. And what it is it's just a complete and utter belief in a system that's been given to you. You believe in it with almost like religious fucking I've lost the words. Gusto, religious gusto, we'll go with, but it's not the word.
Don't look at me for the words. But I want to go back to what you touched on there, because we were both like, you were a massive Rogan fan, more than I am. Yeah.
Do you know what? Genuinely, I think Rogan is the only person where I've kind of. And I'll be perfectly honest, I'm a fucking super fan. But
I love Rogan, but
yeah. But he's the only one. He's the only one that I've kind of invested into, and I don't think if you're one of those people that sort of like invested in yourself, where you go, oh fuck, like I like you, I don't think you're lying to me. I think what you're doing is a good thing that's best for kind of everybody. I don't feel let down. There's so many people that get into positions like that. I know certain people felt let down when he went over Spotify. I don't feel let down when he went over Spotify. He's still got a great podcast. He's remarkably consistent. Remarkably consistent through the years. I mean, no, because it's the same. Because people be turning around and say, no, he backtracks all the time. Like, yeah, because he changes his mind, and he's honest enough to admit to say he's changed his mind.
I change my mind all the time.
I fucking change my mind instantly when I saw your face before. I thought, I'm looking forward to this. Saw your face, no, I'm not. But yeah, like I change my mind all the time because we're fucking people. It's the way I've always looked at the world is that any moment, any person you meet has the ability to completely change your opinion on like the world. If you just meet that one person that's so switched on that you go, oh, fuck, I hadn't thought about something that way. And then you go away and you chew on it and you think about it some more. 3 months down the line, you don't realize that 30-second chat you had with somebody has completely changed you as a person, and it's just took time to grow. So it's changing mind good.
Back to that clip that Tom DeLonge put up on Rogan, that changed a lot of people's minds about TTSA. Oh, yeah. Just that one little thing made so many people just go, hang about, he's just shown a fake UFO.
Yeah.
On the biggest podcast
in the world. Yeah.
He could have gone on there and just not shown anything, not given any evidence for anything, and walked off that show.
Yeah.
Fine. But he had to just show that video.
Mm.
And I think we've discussed this on your podcast. I think that's why Lou took over completely.
I do.
I think
the wheels came off all that because I don't know what's going on, but I do think there is a vested interest in the US government right now. And I will say US government because it doesn't really happen over here. You know, in the UK, we're not really on board with it. Even that, regardless of whatever you think of the Calvine photograph, you know, that came and went, and disappeared.
Did you even see it on BBC News?
No.
I don't watch BBC News.
Well, I don't watch the news anyway. I don't have live television coming to the house anymore. But when you think that has been part of British folklore now for
Rendlesham as well.
Time. Yeah.
How many people in the UK know about the Rendlesham Forest incident? Would you say more Americans know about the Rendlesham Forest incident
than the British? Yeah.
Than the British.
Yeah.
So odd.
Yeah, it is really odd. And do you know what the funny thing is about Rendlesham is? It's a better story than Roswell. Because there's some like recorded fucking documentation about it, not just hearsay. You know,
we've got a fucking monument, Lee.
We've got a monument for it, but more importantly, we've got a fucking audio tape of them looking at the thing. That's crazy. Yeah, could it be fake? Of course it could be fake. It could just be complete nonsense, but it's still there.
And what have we got from Roswell? A guy holding up some foil. But yeah, Tom DeLonge fucked up on that show. And I think the plan was to have Lou all along. I think Lou was already a thing anyway. Yeah, he was. But I think Lou's his job load increased, it doubled, tripled when he made that mistake, because not only did I don't think Tom DeLonge could be the face of it anymore. He had to step out of that. Whereas before, he was the face.
I think it was being set up for Hillary Clinton. I think the contact that her camp with Podesta was having with Tom DeLonge. I don't believe for a split second those people thought Donald Trump could win an election. And I'm not getting into a big politics thing here with US politics. It's not what this show's here for. But what's going on now is in like the UAP thing, which, I mean, the first time we heard about was it UAP that she put out on? Was it that Hillary put out? Yeah, she was on like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. And she also was the first time I heard someone talk about EBEs as well as extraterrestrial biological entities. What we're doing now, I think, is a watered down version of what they wanted to do with Hillary as president. That's kind of why it feels like it's flapping about, doing nothing. For what fucking ends? You know, I'm much more ready to believe that we are on the cusp of a Project Bluebeam situation than I am that we are on the cusp of disclosure.
I don't think the world's prepped for that enough. If that's what's supposed to happen at Project Bluebeam, other than America, I don't think anywhere else is you know. I suppose it only takes America, you know.
No, I think what because we've definitely covered it in the UK. We just covered it in a different way, so it's in the zeitgeist. I think that there's a certain amount of it as well where people kind of find out about these things through osmosis, even if they're not into him. Like my dad, for instance, has seen the Fravor interview because I showed him clips of it. Because I was like, look,
I showed my dad the same interview.
So you don't really. I've had conversations with my friends that aren't really into conspiracy theories about this sort of thing. I mean, my friend Ben will be listening to this this show when we put it out. Like he listens to both Musty Audios and like the Musty Audio and the Alien Addict shows when he goes up. He was never a guy for listening to this sort of stuff until I started doing them. So you don't need you don't need it on the front page of the Times all the time. It just needs to like trickle through society. And then when something does turn up in the sky, you go, fuck. And I still stand by this, that at some point something's going to happen and the conspiracy theorists will be the people that say, that's not an alien. And then you're going to get the same people.
We'll be saying that's no alien.
Yeah, and the same people that ridicule people for believing in conspiracy theories, conspiracy theories, would go, "Fucking come on, bro! You can see it's fucking there. It's fucking spaceships, fucking aliens in it." You're going to go, "No,
I honestly
it's a fucking hologram," and the government are trying to bum us.
I'm just gonna quickly touch on this, but I honestly don't know how anybody with the technology that's about now could say anything's real.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You know, because the technology that's in the hands of civilians will be nothing compared to what's in the hands of the military. And look what we can do with AI. Jennifer, Ghost Tech Paranormal did do an investigation in Rendlesham Forest, and it is an amazing watch. They are coming on Thursday, is it, Lee?
Yep.
Next Thursday, 9 p.m. live. We are going to have the full team from Ghost Tech Paranormal, along with Lee and Black Star Paranormal.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's supposed to be Musty Audio show, but Lee kindly said,
"You fucking hijacked me."
Yes,
it's okay.
It's still going to be your show anyway.
You've given me the opportunity to move my show to Sunday, so I'm quite happy if we start doing Sunday nights, to be honest.
But yeah, thank you for that, Jennifer. The good guys, Ghost Tech Paranormal, and I speak to Jeff quite often. Great guy. I'm going to be staying in a haunted house at some point. I was supposed to do it last year, never happened. Doubt it's going to happen this year, but just with all the...
Oh, can I come?
It's the most haunted house apparently in England. It's not far from
I'll
where
stay on my own. Okay.
So I live in the Leeds area, and it's a house 30 East Drive in, forgotten the town, but it's apparently a bad house. And they made
what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen?
Gonna get loads of views when they go.
You're gonna get loads of views
when they go live.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I can't believe. I still find this fucking amazing. The fact that I do nothing but talk about conspiracies. I do nothing about and come on this show and talk about aliens. And I've turned into a massive skeptic. This isn't what was supposed to happen.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's like
fucking wild.
I think this is what happens, though. I think all you guys, you lovely subscribers that put the thumbs up and click the bell and all that jazz, that you all turn into skeptics. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate the super chat. And Heather Birdie, you're the best alien addict. And that's you as well. She means you as well there, Lee. You're in the flying saucer. Thank you, Heather.
I'm not taking like credit through somebody else. And you're only the best alien addict because there is only one.
Like the Highlander. I loved that first film, even though the acting is terrible, but it's a bloody good film.
I love the concept of Highlander.
Yeah, I love the music. Queen all the way through. It's
I
brilliant.
fucking hate Queen.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, I do hate it.
Something wrong with you.
Ugh.
You're a drummer as well. How can a drummer hate Queen?
Because it all sounds like musicals. I don't like musicals.
It all sound like music.
They do. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'll give you that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, so I've got a big problem with musicals. I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show either. People fucking hate me for that. Yeah,
there you go. We'll let you go, Lee. I will send Lee that. Well, I'll send Lee. I will send you £1.40 of that super chat.
I'll just build them up, and you can send me a T-shirt. I'll build them up like coupons.
What sort of T-shirt?
Exactly like that one.
You could have a mug as well to go with it, Lee.
Can you have those T-shirts in black, because black is slimming?
Yeah, any color. There's lots of colors. I just put
orange. I wouldn't wear an orange because I like
orange.
Man.
I'm an orange man.
Orange is for a smaller man. But the I think those shirts would look really good in orange.
Anyway, I need to stop doing this because somebody will make a video going. All he ever does is talks about his merchandise. I don't at all.
What was that?
I just talk about my merchandise.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, I'm not even mentioning that it's linked in the description. You know,
to be fair, this is the best self advertisement you've done so far. Usually, you only advertise your stuff at the end where everywhere else is gone.
It's coming up to Christmas.
Yeah. Nothing says.
He doesn't spend his money on his children. No, I spend it all. It all goes back into the show, people.
Remember, children, nothing says Merry Christmas like a T-shirt with an alien on the front of it. That could probably get all the in problems for ripping off a xenomorph.
Would you know so? Whoa! That my xenomorph. That one that's hand drawn.
I know. It's heavily inspired as well.
Heavily inspired. Mate, I'm a massive xenomorph fan. Love them. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't have one as a pet.
Best alien?
One.
No. But is it, as far as movies go, Xenomorph, best alien?
Oh yeah, by far. The design. It's not. It's a demon. Let's face it. That is what a demon looks like.
Yeah. Nightmare, wasn't it? Was it Ridley Scott? Yeah, whoever wrote it. Well, Ridley Scott was the director, wasn't he, of the second one?
It was H.R. Geiger.
Right.
It was Geiger.
He had a nightmare that he
drew cocks
by one
and vaginas, and he turned them into like alien-looking things. And so we're gonna get back onto the UFOs, people, but I will educate you people on Alien. So the first Alien, and I think you can find it somewhere. It looks shit. Just like if you look at the first Predator film. If you look at the first Predator, it doesn't look anything. That's
hilarious. Jean-Claude Van Damme in that as well.
Yeah. That'd have been good though. But the actual first Alien, it's nothing like the xenomorph that you see today. I think it was they found Geiger's work and they're like, this is the guy that needs to do this. And yeah, he put his magic to the films, and long live the alien. Probably the most famous alien in all of history, other than the alien Grey that we all know and love. But yeah. But the people that we've seen show up over the last few years, Lee, the DeLongs, the Lou's, Jim Semivan, what's his name? The Chris Mellon, or Hal Puthoff.
All highly, highly untrustworthy people.
They've been. I mean, some of them have been around for years, but you've never really.
No,
You've
no,
never.
but when you look at them in interviews, especially Mellon, they come across as highly untrustworthy.
Well, I wouldn't trust them, but I wouldn't trust anybody in this field.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you mean. It just.
Well, if someone's willing to tell you that the lights that people take pictures of in the sky are alien races traveling billions of miles to get here, just to like sniff around, not do anything, then you should always treat that with a fucking touch of skepticism, I'd have thought.
This is what I don't get: is how long are they going to be able to do this for until it just falls apart?
Well,
Or is it just get as much out of it as you can and get as much money out of it as you can, and then we'll just slowly disappear? Do you think that's what it's going to be for these people?
maybe.
Because Greer's not gone anywhere.
No, but he's less prominent than he was.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah,
would you put Greer? You were on for the show that we when we had Stu on, who's kindly moderating for me in the chat.
I'm looking forward to watching his documentary he was talking about on your last show. I wish I could have made that, but I was out. I was doing something. But
Greer, would you put him in the same category as your Lewis and your Mellons?
No, because Greer's more successful at his grift.
One's doing it probably for financial gain.
But yeah, but that's the thing. Lewis, like Lou is part of the establishment. You know, he's part of the team.
Yeah, but he's doing it for country.
For whatever, I don't know, for whatever reason he's doing it, he's been involved in it in the first place. I don't think Greer's intentions have always been what they are now, because you don't do the National Press Club thing he did. You don't do something like that. I think that probably destroyed him, you know. Like, if you think of that, like, can you imagine? I remember when we were talking to Only Be Squidding once. Rather Be Squidding. And I remember we were talking about Lou getting in touch with... It's Lou, the other one's Lou, isn't he? From the Celebrity Review. Yeah. Yeah. But I said, like, of course you're going to get wrapped into that, because, like, Luis Elizondo turns up to your work to speak to you. Like, for 1 minute you're doing your day-to-day job, the next minute you're in the fucking X-Files. That's as good as the smoking man turning up to speak to you, like, at work. You know, come with me, little boy. I'm going to take you on a journey. That's exactly the feeling you would get if that happened. And he got fingered too. No, but the thing with the National Press Club would be, imagine setting that up and setting all those people up with all those testimonies, and on the build of that, Greer must have been thinking, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking break this open. I'm going to be remembered throughout fucking history as being the guy that made the fucking United States of America take notice of UFOs. I'm going to bring disclosure. And that's what I thought he was bringing with that. And fucking nothing happened. Less than nothing.
Well, something which I don't want to say the words on the show, because we've already got we're already gonna have a Wikipedia for Flat Earth. We'll have a Wikipedia for alien abduction. And I don't want to get a Wikipedia for something that ends with 11 and starts with 9. Happened just after.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's I think maybe his intentions were in the right place to start with, and then he realized that he could just make some money from it. $3,000 to go and sit in a fucking field with him and look at the sky. A subscription app on your. Oh no, it's not a subscription. Sorry, is it? You don't pay a subscription to C5, but it's. I can't be bothered looking for it.
Did you watch Kurt Jamungle?
What the fuck is that? Is that the one with Robin Williams where they're playing a board game?
No, you might not know who he is. Kurt Jamungle, podcaster, and his show. I forgot the name of it. Something of it. Anyway, somebody in the chat will know it. But great interview. He had Greer on, and it literally ripped him a new arsehole. Like at some points of that interview, Greer's back was really put against the wall. He did not like the questions being asked.
I wonder if Greer's upset he fucked it with Rogan.
Did he go on twice or just once on Rogan?
Just once, and he was going to go on a second time, but he wouldn't go on unless Rogan paid him.
And Rogan said that on the show.
Rogan said that on one of his episodes. It was during the time like when he'd. I think it was just before. It was either just before Bob Lazar was on, or just after Bob Lazar. But it was in that moment, where Rogan was just starting to dip his toe into the thing, and someone on his podcast brought up Stephen Greer, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I've had Stephen on," and then there's something. He said, "Yeah, he was going to come on again." But he wanted paid. He said, "I don't pay guests to come on."
It says a lot about the person when you want in. You've been invited on the big one of the
pure arrogance. Like it's pure arrogance.
I mean,
makes me wonder how much he gets paid to do documentaries.
Do you think Jake Paul paid him to go on his show?
I mean,
did you see him on Jake Paul's?
No, I don't watch him propulsive.
Neither do I. I don't watch Jake Paul, but
no, I like Jake Paul. I watch now and again if there's someone I'm interested in.
Oh yeah, you've got a Maverick t-shirt, haven't you? I forgot about that.
Have I?
Yeah,
I'd get one. I'd wear a Team Maverick t-shirt.
It's quite good merch. That, to be fair, it looks nice.
I like the guy. I tell you what, I'm a big fan of him going into professional wrestling as well. I love WWE. And I'm looking forward to watching him fight Roman Reigns tomorrow at Crown Jewel.
I think he'd be good in wrestling.
He is.
He's a very dramatic person.
But he's also very athletic as well, so he's adapting well.
You don't see much of his brother, do you?
Jake Paul knocked out what's his name? Was it Silver, the UFC fighter, ex-UFC fighter?
Maybe I don't see a lot of him because it's the age. It's not my era. All that weird YouTube.
You don't like fighting, do you, Ollie?
I don't mind a bit of fighting. I like watching boxing. I like watching a bit of boxing now and again, but I don't like. So, for me, somebody who's just come out, somebody who's a like big YouTuber that does pranks and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden goes into boxing. I've never kind of been interested to look because I just think the guy
on the boxing fight. I think Logan and Jake are two very different animals. Like Logan's an entertainer. That's what he's there for. He was softballed with Floyd Mayweather. That was it was there for a show. That's what it was there for. I paid for it. I watched it.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's the same as I enjoyed I tell you what, I would fucking pay to watch Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather again tomorrow as well. That was another fantastic entertainment event. But Jake Paul's a better boxer. Like he's a better fighter than people give him credit for. And I'm not saying he's like the greatest boxer in the world by any stretch of imagination, but like that guy can crack. When you see him get a clean punch and knock somebody out, and he gets undue pressure because he's a YouTuber. Like, and the training that guy must have put in to fucking do what he's doing must be unbelievable. But this is not UFOs.
Did you see the? Did you ever see the offer that Rich Giordano made to Lou for the boxing fight?
Yes, I did.
Who do you think would win?
Lou.
Did you hear that, Rich? If you're watching,
Lou's killed people. There is no doubt in my mind that through
can't say that.
No, through his job. I'm sure you can say somebody in the military has probably killed someone, or something that has happened that they've been involved in has led to the deaths of other people. That's the job of being in the military, is to end other people.
Well, okay, now you put it that way.
Yeah, I don't mean
But
I don't mean he's running around like covertly murking people.
Lou's quite stocky and short, and I think Rich is quite tall.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a bit of reach on him. Rich is working out now.
Yeah.
But you think Lou would have just done one of his maneuvers?
Did we get a bing?
We did get a bing.
Hey, Stuart, you okay, mate?
I'm good,
Stuart,
thank you.
I've just realised.
What?
You've got the same hat as me.
Yeah. It's just got the bit underneath, the grey bit.
Oh, yeah. It did look red for a second in that light. So we're just talking now. Who do you think would win in a fight between Rich Giordano and Lou Alessandro?
Yeah. Tricky one. Hate to say this. I think Lou might win.
I think Lou would definitely win. Like, he's fucking like he's trained.
Built. Yeah.
Tell you what I'm going to do. Tell you what I'm going to do while you got boys discuss it. I'm going to put a poll up just to entice Rich. So Rich can
What
talk
was your
about
answer, Lee?
Oh, well, they would fucking murder him.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Rich,
and
but
I would be in Rich's corner. I would be in Rich's corner all day long.
Yeah.
What, wiping the blood off his face?
I would tell you what, I'd be in
I'll
Rich's
throw in the
corner.
towel for him.
I would be cheering. No, like he made his bed. I would be cheering him on, but I wouldn't be betting on him.
How the fuck do you have a chat? How do you have a poll these days? They've changed it. Don't change it, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube's changed a lot about their app this week.
Have they censored polls now?
Probably.
Depends what type of poll you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
Was
even for me. So
Stu,
hi. While I'm working out a poll,
okay, as you do.
So
hold on.
So Stu,
switch that off. Carry on. Sorry, that was me.
I was just saying to Lee about you making the Greer documentary. Have you done
anything else with it?
Yeah,
I have an interview I lined up with Billy Gibbons.
Ooh,
Pray
tell.
That's it. That's all I've got for you, January.
I don't know who Billy Gibbons is.
He's the guy that supposedly Greer went into a secret base with, and got to check out, what was it, like UFO technology and advanced medical stuff that they were able to heal whole limbs and God knows what else. But he's from ZZ Top originally. Well, he still is.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I've contacted his manager and his publicist, and we have a tentative date in place for as a Zoom conversation.
Talk about Greer. Would you agree with that he started off in an with better intentions than he ended up with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know at what point he stopped being a trauma doctor, like full time. I assume he was still working as a doctor when he did the press club thing in 2001. But once he went full time with the UFO stuff, it then obviously becomes a job, a business, you know,
Yeah.
a way of making money. And when you put money in the mix, it just totally complicates the hell out of things and obviously can distort your view. So you're going to start saying things potentially that, well, in my view, that are either going to be true, not true, or whatever, just so you can get some bucks. I mean, he's charging ridiculous amounts of money for these C5 events now and talks and everything.
$3,000 a crack, isn't it?
Depending on what ones you go to, there's some are as high as $10,000
Wow.
per person. I think the seminars are like 3K. But if you want to go like to his place, and I think it's Virginia, and I think it's 10K he's charging.
It's
a lot
bordering
of
on
money.
a religion, that.
Kinda,
you get
yeah.
these strange culty religions where it's like, oh, you can come in and like we'll listen to us and you can come out with us, but
I mean, I'm
gotta
still
give,
doing
gotta give us
like,
30% of your salary.
yeah. I mean, I'm still doing a lot of like, God, I haven't even sort of touched a drop in terms of the amount of research I'm doing on it. And I'm just taking what I can when I can in terms of like talking to people and things like that. As I said to Ollie last week, I've got a link into his camp. I've got one of his staff who are working for him is starting to give me a bit of behind the scenes information. Some of it's actually quite legit and good from what I've had from them so far. There's nothing being ultimately bad, if I'm being honest, but that's within the bounds of, you know, the guy charges between 3 and 10 grand for CE5, and I don't know what they're getting out of it. I mean, it must be difficult to do like a contact weekend. You're charging somebody that level of money, and you want to get, you know, you want to give them some kind of result. It's almost like, you know, it's bordering on you like going to Disneyland or Disney World and, you know, not getting to see Pirates of the Caribbean or the fireworks display or something like that. I don't know.
I think it would be like a really big band or a really famous comic that as soon as you get to the level where Greer's at, people are so happy to go and do it that they'll probably make their own thing up in their head. Because you've got two things there. You go if you're spending 10 grand to go and do a Stephen Greer thing, then you're already one of the team. You already believe what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've also got that investment that you've made. So at that point, you're a religious subject, because if you walk out going, oh, I've just wasted 10 grand.
Yeah, you're right. You want to justify it in your mind,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's so tricky. I mean, when it's the same with Linda. I keep going back to, did it last week as well. Linda Moulton Howe. I mean, she's just another grifter as well. You know, I think she started out with really good intentions and very good journalistic morals, but as she's got, I mean, she's in her 80s now. You know, it's clearly just a way of making money. So the more stories she can spin and go on about her, you know, Spartan 1 and Spartan 2 contacts and all that kind of stuff.
There's loads of these people. I mean, it's the same with what's her name? The demonologist woman.
Oh,
you've lost me. Who's that?
I can't think of a name.
Someone in the chat tell me she was involved with the doll with the is it Raggedy Ann doll that they beat? Is
that the couple that did the
the couple? I forgot what the name. Yeah,
Horror House, right? I don't know what they're called, but I know who you're talking about.
You're on about Ed and
Lorraine Warren. Lorraine Warren. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, she's exactly the same now. You know, it's just like she. But I think she popped up on fucking the Skinwalker Ranch for an episode.
Did you?
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of that series at all.
Because
I struggle with Skinwalker because I think it's a lot of crap.
I struggle with anything that the History Channel or National Geographic type thing do. You know, any of those things. I don't get me wrong, they're fun, but it's if you want to try and take this thing slightly more seriously, they're not for you. You know, they're for people just to watch and get wrapped
I mean,
up in.
another guy who I know Cambion's got a thing about is David Adair. You ever heard any of his stuff?
Not really, no.
He's the one that God, he spins some yarns. So he does. He supposedly stayed with Neil Armstrong's mother, and when he was a wee boy, he was there when the '69, Apollo landing happened, and he was in the house at the time, which is a dangerous thing to lie about because there's probably news footage of that, or at least photographs of who all was there while that was happening. He has been taken to Area 51, and he's also built fusion reactors that are only like very small. What else has he done? He supposedly got some Saudi Arabian or Middle Eastern sheikh who wants to let him create a space program to the tune of about 3 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars. And as Cambion pointed out in his show, why is he going and doing, a UFO conference for a few $100 if he's getting offered trillions of dollars to go and set up, a space program to go back to the moon? It's a bit crazy.
Well, that's like so Gray got offered. What did he say? He got offered $2 billion. Was it, Stu, to just drop it, stay quiet?
Yeah.
If somebody offered me $2 billion to not do Alien Addict ever again,
I just don't think he's getting enough dirt on people to justify somebody paying him $2 billion.
No.
Think of the amount of, quite frankly, hitmen out there that cost a hell of a lot less than $2 billion, and they could take him out, cut his brake light.
that's it. That's it.
It's just silly. Not that I know any hitmen.
I mean, to me, it's a very stupid lie.
Yeah,
it's a very stupid. That's where he messes up.
No, I don't think he does, because it's so fucking crazy. Like
offered billion.
Yeah, so if he turned around and said, "Someone offered me $100 million to stop talking about this," you go, "Fuck off." But then if someone turns around and says, "Someone offered me $2 gazillion," then you just go, "Oh, that's fucking crazy." And it's easier to believe that because it's mental than it is to believe something that's obviously
the lie is so extreme that you're liable to probably believe it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a bit like you guys. I've become not cynical, but definitely way more skeptical in the last year or so than ever before, especially when you start researching people and quite easily debunk a lot of what they say. It's because, I mean, you could literally make documentaries about this sort of, can you hear my dog in the background? Sort of half a dozen top UFO guys like Dolan, Moulton Howe, and all these, obviously, I can't remember the guy's name, but Elizondo's had a kind of documentary done about him, Who's Lou, and
for Area 503, Manny.
Yeah, Manny, that's the guy. So, I mean, yeah, you could literally do documentaries on all these people for the rest of your days and still not be finished. There's just that much bullshit about. I mean, it's quite funny talking about the flat Earth thing, because for a while there, I kind of watched all that stuff and got into it, not from the point of view of believing in it, but just out of sheer curiosity of what the hell are these guys talking about.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy watching it?
I thought some of it was entertaining, because, I mean, the thing that got me into it was, I'm going to have to go and let this dog out in a second. She's whining. The thing that got me into it was that documentary that was on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix, Beyond the Curve.
Yeah.
And all the sort of folks that are involved with that. And you just think, are these folk for real? It just so happens, I put this in the chat earlier on. I got offered. I was doing photographs years ago in South Africa, and I got offered a flight in a Lightning back seat. You know, taking up. Right, hold that thought. I'll go and let this dog out. I'll tell you the story in a second or two. She's unreal. Right, give me a sec.
Okay.
We're back on the flat Earth. I'm definitely going to get Wikipedia. I don't care. I mean, I don't even think it does anything.
What?
The Wikipedia little thing underneath your video. You know, it says factual information about.
I don't. I feel if you're going to get deranked,
I'm back.
you'd be deranked by now.
God, that were a quick piss. You just told it out.
I've just opened the back door so you can
I've got this terrible feeling. You just snapped your dog's neck and came back on calmly.
No, she's just out the back door. It's like through the back door and just came back. No, yeah.
I don't know why that's tickle.
That's quite good. I like that lead. But yeah, I know I got offered a flight and I get taken up to over 60,000 feet, and you can see the curvature of the Earth quite easily.
I didn't think you could see the curve at that height.
Yeah, you can. You can.
I thought you had to be over 100,000.
It's not a dramatic curve. It's not like, you know, when you see it through like a GoPro, there's a complete, you know,
yeah.
Definitely see the curve. I mean, we've got an island just about, 30 miles south of us called Isles of Craig. And it's where they get the granite for making curling stones. A lot of the Olympic teams still get their granite from there, even though the quarry is not really in use any longer. And the flat earthers have kind of gripped onto this island and as a way of proving that the Earth's flat because of taking measurements. But, you know, if you see the Isles of Craig from like where I stay in the sort of middle part of Ayrshire on the west coast of Scotland, and then you go down to Girvan, which is the closest town, you used to have to get a boat across from there. You can see more of the island once you get to Girvan than you can from up here. And if you got north to Largs, which is further up the coast, you can still see the Isles of Craig, and it's a lot smaller. And the reason for this is because obviously you can't see due to the curvature of the Earth, you know. And we've got the Isle of Arran about 28 miles across the water. You can't see Whiting Bay or any of the little villages and towns along the edge at all. In the same way that when you're over Arran, you can't see where I come from, and that's because of the curvature of the Earth. So you don't need to be a rocket scientist to debunk this stuff.
Yeah,
you've got to have common sense.
There's quite a lot of stuff with the Isle of Man. They use measurements from the Isle of Man from like Douglas to Holyhead and stuff like that. Where, but I don't fucking know, to be perfectly honest. I don't think it's flat. I think some of the infrared.
It wouldn't make sense from a physics point of view. It wouldn't make sense if it's flat.
No,
because the further out to the edge that you get, the greater the gravity is on a centrifugal basis, from what I remember. And you could effectively, if it was flat and there was an edge, you could effectively stand on the edge and not fall off if it was flat.
It would have to be moved. That would have to be moving, though, wouldn't it?
Well, supposedly, even though it's flat, does it not still rotate? Do they not say that?
No, it's like flat stationary. You're right. No space. Space isn't.
There
real.
You go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make a very good flat earther, I'm afraid. So how far did they? I mean, how did they justify the sun and the moon in eclipses and stuff then?
Sun and the moon are local, same size, and like within our atmosphere.
Okay.
See, I asked. Did I ask Orphan Black this?
I can't remember. That was
Orphan Red. It was a long show. That's why he'd done it in 2 parts. But I did a video, and it was like it wasn't a flat Earth debunk, but I did something I think about 4 years ago, where I pulled the flat Earth globe thing up and flat Earth.
I was going to say you
plane.
can't call it a globe.
And
Plate.
I was asking the question: how do you explain the fact that the sun disappears? Because on a flat Earth model, surely if it's light, that sun would never. You'd always see it. That's what I didn't. That's what I couldn't get my head around because the model for them was.
You're gonna make me fucking play devil's advocate for flat earthers again.
Yeah, that's you know.
There's like film and video of when Concorde used to be about, and they used to chase the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and you would see like they would follow it, and you would see like the Terminator where it obviously goes from night to dark, and they used to chase it around towards America.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's the same way I mean, they go on about like flights from I don't know, like Australia to wherever, or like South America, Peru to Australia and that, and they say it can't be done. And there's plenty of flights you can get. It might only be one a week or something, but you can get a flight. They talk. I mean, I can see where somebody without any kind of basic knowledge of geography and physics and just general understanding of how the planet works instead of poor education, if they go onto YouTube and they come across Eric Dubay's video, or Mark Sargent's the other guy, he was the one that was in that documentary, I can understand how they can be suckered into it, because his stuff is very convincing, unless you
Debate stuff, especially so.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good storyteller, and his videos are relatively well done. But you have to be somebody with a poor education, because anyone with a modicum of a high school education has got to be able to see through that and think, no, it's just a lot of rubbish.
I think the other part of it as well, and this goes for all conspiracies really, and even like some of the conspiracies I believe as well. I'm not infallible to it. It's enticing to follow something where someone turns around and says, right, you see all these people that have studied for years, right? They're wrong, and they've just been learning nonsense, and you can have more information than they have learned with hundreds of years of studying of collective studying. If you just watch this YouTube video for 2 hours, and you will know more than those people. I think that's quite addictive.
I think also it's almost not a cult. That's the wrong thing.
Is that your dog doing the Lord of the Dance?
Yeah, that's her tapping across the wooden floor. I'd lift her up, but I'd break my neck. She weighs a ton. What are you saying?
Stu, can I just ask this, because me and Lee was talking about, and we've always kind of sent each other videos, and we've asked the question: do you trust what NASA's showing on the ISS?
No.
Have you seen some of the videos I've seen with people disappearing?
I don't know about that, but the internal stuff, when they do like lives for schools and stuff like that stuff's fine. The external stuff, I have actually been watching like lives and something.
I'm asking you this as a video guy as well, because I know you know video.
Yeah, I know for a fact there's a delay in the feed. There's, I think, at least a 3.5 minute delay, so they get to, have a glance at it before we get to see it. But yeah, I wouldn't trust it. No.
There's two really good ones that I showed my friend who works. He does Photoshop and things like this for a living, and he's not a conspiracy theorist. And the two I always show people that if I knew we were going to talk about this, I'd have found them today. But there's one with a astronaut going down the tube, and then he goes right down, like through another hatch. But unfortunately, if we say that's the hatch, as he's coming towards the hatch to go behind it, he starts disappearing here.
I've never seen that one.
And he disappears. It's like, I mean, I've got very fucking limited knowledge about this stuff, but I understand about masking and things like that. And it's clear that the mask just wasn't aligned with where the solid object was supposed to be.
Not that I'm sticking up for NASA, but some of the experiments they do have on board sometimes have a classified nature to them.
Oh, no.
It could well be they've masked off something.
I want, like, and this has always been my thing of where I'm not, because that's my thing with flat Earth theory. I think it might just be a unified theory that's come up with the wrong answer for a few of these different things. And it would make total sense that if there was classified stuff, that some of the stuff we see is a sanitized version of what's going on up there. The other interesting one I saw is one where the feed fails, but if you watch it's only the astronauts that start to warp. The background stays still and clear, and it's only the astronauts that start to break down.
No, I mean, without actually looking at it, I couldn't honestly say.
Oh yeah, no.
I'd love to see it. I mean, God, send me a link through Twitter to it, because I know we.
Yeah, well, I'll find out
because I'm kind of curious now. But in terms of external stuff and that, they definitely block stuff off.
I was speaking into a microphone on mute. Then I was just saying. Then I've trying to get something up to show you, Stu, but it's all been taken off YouTube. It's gone.
Oh yeah, you've got to look on Rumble or Odyssey to find
why.
That stuff now.
But here's the thing. If it's bullshit and it's just people jumping the gun and not understanding how the technology works up there, and not understanding the delay in signal.
There's next to no delay in signal these days.
Why can you not find any of it on YouTube? Why is it all gone?
That I have no answer to. I mean,
there were loads of it. There were loads.
I mean, I've used Photoshop since the early 90s, and I've used it professionally since version 3. So that's a long time. And I've also, just out of my own curiosity, gone through some of the Apollo lunar stuff, and you can clearly see a lot of it's photoshopped. You can see like the stuff that was done years ago. I don't know if they've improved it now, but you can see the clone marks, and there's ways of detecting pixel manipulation in that. So they've definitely cloned stuff out and changed things on a lot of the orbital like images. So I don't know what they're hiding, if anything.
Do you think this is just a case of, I mean, there's obviously some fuckery going on with it. Do you think it's just a case of doing something today and not worrying about tomorrow? It's in the same way as or because I don't believe that these people don't realize that whatever they're using to do that, we will have better consumer versions down the road that can then look back on what they've already done.
I don't think for a minute I'm just taking it from my own point of view. I mean, when I was using Photoshop 3, like negative scanners were an absolute fortune. I mean, the first negative scanner I got, this is before digital cameras, it was a Polaroid, and it set me back $2,500. And prior to that, they were 10 grand, like 2 or 3 years before. And now you can pick up better scanning technology on a printer for 50 quid in Tesco. You know, it all, comes down to the consumer level at some point. So I don't think for a minute, I never thought for a minute when I was using Photoshop 3, and I'm thinking back to when I worked in Empix in Nottingham and did sports stuff and that, I never thought for a minute that even digital cameras would be a thing. I mean, the first digital camera I was introduced to was a Nikon Kodak hybrid camera, and the only way I can describe it, and you can probably Google it, is you had a big, huge bag strapped to your waist and around your shoulder, and inside that was the hard disk drive and a small, like literally 200 pixel by whatever many pixels LCD screen, and that was your storage device. And the thing was bigger than a VHS video recorder and 3 times the weight. And there was a big sort of kettle curly cord thing come off the Nikon D3, and I used that. I mean, I tested that out for Nikon and Kodak as a student back in the day. We all got a shot at it, and we thought this thing was amazing. But there was no way, apart from floppy disks, of getting the images off, and they were absolutely tiny. And then the Sony Mavic wasn't long after that, where you could put a floppy disk into the digital camera. But again, the quality was just like 480 pixels. And it wasn't until the Fuji S1 Pro came out, which was about £1,000, and it was 3 megapixels interpolated to 6 megapixels. And then the one that really sort of broke the mold was the Canon EOS 10D, which was out sort of early 2002, 2003, and it was 12 megapixels. Yeah, 12 megapixels. And then it all kind of snowballed from there. But at no point did I think, oh, I'm going to be able to take better pictures with my phone. You know, it just doesn't go into your head.
Yeah. It is
at any
wild.
point. So, yeah, if somebody researches and digs deep enough in that archive, because there's thousands of images, they definitely come across stuff that looks a bit dodgy. You can easily, I mean, there's sites now that you can put images up into, and it analyzes it for you and tells you what pixels have been manipulated and what are genuine pixels and all that kind of stuff, and it breaks it all down for debunking things. I mean, yeah, but no, NASA's definitely played with stuff. There's no doubt about it.
It's just interesting, isn't
For
it?
whatever
Because,
reason, I don't know.
But the man hours that must have been put in, you know, it's we've obviously you've heard of the stories of is it, what's his name, Gary McKinnon, who
Is that the Scottish guy that got done for hacking?
Yeah, hacked NASA, didn't he? Back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. Oddly enough, I think it was Theresa May.
And he didn't really actually hack them. All he did was do a Perl script for passwords. They were just that crap at making passwords. Yeah.
Well, I think the ones he went onto as well was as good as having like password your password as admin and password. Yeah. But I think it was Theresa May who was the Home Secretary at the time, and she stopped him getting extradited because the US wanted to extradite him to try him over there.
That's just the US flexing their muscles.
Oh yeah. But he said he saw something like which was like partially doctored, or you know, it's or like fucking fiddled with, essentially, of a saucer from top down, didn't he?
I'm not sure where JPL is situated, but the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, there is a building off of those buildings that supposedly used to be, not now, but used to be full of computers and people sitting there retouching images. Some of it legitimately, you know, because however you think of like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong's ability to take photos, you've got to remember it was a Hasselblad camera with one lens, so fixed focus, and they had a big button they could effectively press, and I think they could alter the aperture, the amount of light getting let in to a point. But unless they were standing the correct distance away, for all the hundreds of shots that they actually took, as many were out of focus or badly composed you know, and a lot of this, I think 100% of it was shot in slide film, E6
I
film.
can't remember they did, because wasn't there an they took a surprisingly little amount of photographs though, didn't they? They didn't have a whole host of film with them.
Yeah, I think it was later missions that took a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember they were only on the moon for, what was it, between 4 and 6 hours in total or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think they took an awful lot. I think Mike Collins took more images orbiting the moon than they did.
Are you a moon
actually
guy?
being
Do you
on
think
the
we
moon.
went to? Do you think we went to the moon? Do you
We
think-
definitely went to the moon. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I will say this: did they fake some of the photos? Not so sure. I think for PR purposes, and especially to rub it in the Soviets' noses, I think there's a few of the photos have been faked.
I don't think the moon I don't think the moon landing footage was real. I don't know if we've been to the moon, but I don't think that was real.
I think we've definitely been to the moon, because you can effectively, I mean, there are, you know, photos out there now where you can see like the orbiters and the landers are still in place, and we do measurements whereby we fire a laser at the moon to measure the distance each year, and there's reflectors that reflect the laser beam back, and that stuff had to have been put there.
Only thing I'd say about that is I believe that we've also done that without the reflectors, just off the moon's surface back to the Earth.
Could have done by now. As technology moves forward. But did they fake some of the photos? Yes, I think they did.
Yeah, it's the video. The One Small Step for Man. I think that was filmed somewhere on a soundstage.
The problem with that is, see, when he says it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah,
he's actually misheard. He actually says supposedly it's one small step for a man, but you don't hear the a. And the other thing is, when you see him jumping off down, that's not when that was actually said.
Mm-hmm.
He was lower down than that. That big leap that you see is not when that was said. It was said later.
Yeah.
There's still like a pad he lands on. When he jumped down from that ladder, he still lands on like a platform or pad or part of the lander. And then he steps off from that. And that's the point where he makes that famous speech.
Mm-hmm.
So that's manipulated time-wise.
From the word
You've also got to remember that the signal was sent via the lunar lander, Eagle or whatever it was called, up to I think there was a satellite or something they had orbiting, because it wasn't just Mike's ship, because that was obviously, going around the moon at a hell of a rate. And then it was sent back to Australia, I think, somewhere in Australia. And then it was then transferred to the US. So, I mean, the delay at that point was quite significant. And also the cameras that you actually see the footage, they were filming a television at NASA, at Houston or wherever. So it's quite a degraded image from even the original electronic thing. But the thing is, they couldn't have possibly have faked it at all, because to fake it, let me get this right, there's a term we use, overcranking, which is basically what you call slow motion now. They didn't have enough video memory to be able to do it. The most they could do in terms of capturing slow motion back in those days, in the 60s, was like 10 or 20 seconds for like sportscasts, like the American football and stuff.
Are you talking about when they're jumping on the moon?
Yeah, so to get that sort of bounce, if they were faking it, okay, they would have to overcrank it. So it would need to be standard. At that point, television would be 30 frames a second, so we need to go up to 60 frames a second. And if you were shooting it on film, you would literally need thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of film. It would all have to be dot registered. You'd have to be no scratches. You'd have to, the amount of things they would have to do to get that footage perfect is just beyond the pale. They just wouldn't be able to fake it. And there was never enough hard drive. The biggest hard drives, I think, could record about 30 seconds at that point.
Yeah. That's the best explanation I've ever heard for that to be legitimate, I think.
No, it's definitely went. But when it comes to the stills, I'm not so sure.
Can I,
Because,
Stu, can I ask this? So, I get how bad that live footage would have been, but they did have better cameras on board. Am I right? They had better cameras on board.
They had
because we've
16 millimeter.
We've seen them filming on. So when Neil's going down the ladder, I'm just wondering, like, for that, the greatest moment in the history of humans, probably, you know, why didn't Buzz Aldrin film Neil going down the ladder with the good camera?
Spacesuit on. You got to remember, it was a remote camera that had come off the lander at an angle that made that to be captured.
He can't have been getting his spacesuit on.
It would have been. He was 20 minutes later. He would have been still prepping his gloves and his boots and stuff.
Wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
How can he be getting his spacesuit on though? If it's depressurized, they'd have both had to put the spacesuit on together.
That's what I was going to say.
I thought they had a little bit of a.
I doubt it. I've been in that thing.
Have you? Right.
Yeah, my mum and dad took me when I was 10 years old, and
right. Well, yeah, I think I've never seen stills of the interior of the lander, but I've never.
It doesn't have multiple rooms.
Well, I thought it had. I'm not saying multiple rooms, but I thought there was like an inner and an outer door.
They would have both had the spacesuits on. So
right.
So for me, the most frustrating thing about that amazing moment is why we never got. I mean, did they not think to do it, or did they just forget to do it? Because they had the cameras. Why not film it?
I have no answer on that one. I mean, I know it was like an early video camera that captured it. I think Kodak made it. That captured that feed, and it was pretty poor, but it was a lot better in reality than what you saw on the television, because what you saw on television was, you know, through is like third generation. It was literally a crappy camera filming a TV screen that was crappy, and then you're getting that projected back to, you know, it's like umpteen generations down the line.
I completely get
so
that.
Somewhere, I mean, they supposedly lost all the footage at one point, but I think they actually found it again. But you can go on.
No, they recorded over it. They recorded over it to save film.
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
But have they not? But I was led to believe that they'd got a hold of.
I think there was. Didn't somebody find a load of moon stuff in their basement?
Something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think any of that's ever come out. I think it was because somebody found this, said, "I found all this moon stuff in my basement," and it was immediately confiscated from them. I think.
I know.
Have you heard the story of the Coke bottle?
Coke bottle?
Yeah, I don't know if this was during the Apollo 11. But
it was. There was loads of people said they saw it on the live feed.
Yeah, in Australia, because what they were doing then is when did the light go out there?
Yep.
Yeah, backlights went out. When the Australians got the feed, they got it before the Americans. and supposedly a woman, a sort of old lady who was near the dish that they actually did the broadcast, she got to see this Coke bottle in shot, and then it was removed by the time it got out the American broadcast. It was weird. I've just heard the story. I've not actually seen it.
I mean, what would a Coke bottle do in space?
Well, this is supposedly, like, if you believe that Stanley Kubrick, filmed it all in a soundstage Area 51. Somebody, a bit like Game of Thrones, where the coffee cup was left in the Great Hall. Somebody left a Coke bottle next to one of the lunar rocks or something.
Yeah, if you can't tell, Stu, I'm a big Kubrick fan.
Have you ever seen the?
Yeah, are you seriously a big Kubrick fan?
Yeah, the wallpaper.
Oh God, so you are going to looked at that. Yeah. I'm too busy focusing on you.
I'm busy working on a Stanley Kubrick inspired sleeve on my arm as well.
I'm a big Kubrick fan from the way he filmed stuff and that. I went and saw his exhibition and all the equipment he used and the lenses and that ages ago, and it was great.
So you don't think he had anything to do with it?
Nah.
Do you think he had conversations?
Yeah, he was well connected.
Do you think there was
he did a lot of research for 2001.
Do you think there could have been a backup plan?
Have you seen the footage, right, of the like the training exercises where they have like
inside the spacecraft?
No, inside there's footage of them doing training exercises inside a soundstage with a lunar lander on a fake moon surface. Yeah. Now
it's odd.
It's fucking
the James Bond movie.
No, but it's the same situation. Yeah, no, but it's a similar thing. But by fuck, if that doesn't half look like the real footage.
I mean,
also, isn't there's?
I think I could, if you said to me they faked all the stills, I could believe you. But I know they wouldn't been able to fake the video feed.
What if they had better technology? What if military?
It just was no, because everything that they researched and did came out of Rochester, New York, and Kodak. How
long did it come out afterwards?
What's that?
The ability to be able to do stuff like that sort of frames, slow motion. How many years?
Not until I would think at least the mid-70s.
Right, and what do we say?
Put it this way, I mean, I was born in 74. The last lunar mission was 72. It would have been 76, 77, 78. When was there? I'm trying to think.
What year did we go to the moon? 1960.
When was Munich? When the one where they had the Munich Olympics. What year was that?
No idea.
Wherever Munich was, where the terrorist attack was, that was, I think, the first Olympics that they had decent slow-mo.
I think all I'm doing here, and you as well, Lee, devil's advocate. I mean, we always say that
1972 was the Munich Olympics. Was it
right? That would still corroborate with the last mission then, the Gene Cernan one. 72 is I think when they first had like reasonable slow-mo, but the machines that they still used were huge. They filled a room, and they still only could capture maybe again a minute's worth of slow-mo.
So you're only talking 3 years.
Yeah.
So if we've gone from, I would 100% believe that if the US government wanted to fake a moon landing and wanted to fake slow-mo on it, I could 100% believe that their technology was 3 years ahead of what we were using to film the Olympics. That doesn't
still
seem
don't
a
see it.
stretch.
The problem we've got now,
The military's
is that
10 years ahead now.
I would say the military's a lot, DARPA and stuff like that are way more than 10 years ahead in a lot of their stuff.
Okay, so there you go. So
I mean,
if we
you
stop
got
and
to
think
remember,
about
I
that,
mean, they were using email, you know, way before email became a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it like fucking 60s or something crazy like that?
yeah. My mum was using email in 1984.
wow.
She worked at the Hannah Research Institute, which is a dairy sort of research place up in Scotland. It's now a set of apartments and houses around it, but they were the people that provided the DNA and the genetic material for Dolly the sheep back in the day. They didn't do the actual cloning, but they provided the genetic material, like the actual Dolly the sheep genetic material
most
came from.
fucking pointless thing in the world ever. If you're gonna clone an animal, don't clone the animals that are fucking identical to each other.
I know. It's anyway. I'm digressing, but what I'm saying is, like she used email back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They used to use it and contact the different universities and stuff like that. So I mean, it's all been around for a long, long time. But getting back to what you're saying about, like, could they I still don't think they could have faked it.
3 years.
Too many.
If the time difference would have been something like that, we saw slow-mo turn up in like the mid 80s or something like that, I'd have maybe gone, okay. But 3 years.
Still, I will say
to
this. The explanation that you've made, Stu, is like Lee said.
It's the best explanation I've heard.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
But
thanks.
But could
it's looking at it from a photographer and a filmmaker's point of view. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of feet if you're going to shoot it on film, and to get it that smooth. But even the likes of the way the dust interacts and stuff like that, that's so difficult to fake. Because you look at like the way they kick up dust and the regolith off of the surface, like it just doesn't. It wouldn't work like that.
I think
Earth, even in a vacuum.
But that doesn't depend on what the density of the dust was, because if it might not work with if you think of like dust now as in like just if we have like a dry surface like mud, but depending on what you were using, if you were using something which was maybe I suppose baby powder is the first thing that comes into my mind.
Yeah,
because
talc's the first thing that comes into my mind.
Yeah, because it's got that sort of wet heaviness to it, and it would essentially kick up like a rooster tail sort of thing if you were to drive over it. Yeah, I think material.
But I mean, even like you got to remember there's hours and hours and hours of footage, and I think it's the final mission in '72 when they're arsing about with the lunar rover. There's one of the astronauts falls over, but he also falls over and then tries to get back up and falls over onto his life support backpack.
Yeah.
At the same time, he couldn't do that if it was faked, because they would have to be supported with some kind of wire system, and the wire system would have.
There's a video of one of them falling over, which very much looks like he's been pulled up by a pulley.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I've seen that one, but I've also seen this other one whereby he falls over and then as he's getting back up, he falls over and turns at the same time. You just couldn't fake that. You know, you would see the wires gripping into the spacesuit.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, you could have, if it was, it depends where your wires would be attached. I would think they would be on like a gyro-y sort of thing, but from the sides.
They would need to be somewhere where the center of gravity is balanced. And that's another thing to take into consideration. Like, even if they're faking it, you know, spacesuits ain't light. You know, even the space helmet, it weighs quite a weight.
If you don't have to take them into space, it wouldn't have to be heavy.
Yeah, it
You
could
would
have been. It could be made out of polystyrene.
You would
Yeah.
just
was-
have some. You'd have to have something that looked like what you were sending into space with. What the only one that will get me is if the reason to fake the moon landing was space race with Russia, and if you can't make it, you fake it type situation.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with like the Star Wars. I mean, everyone thinks that, you know, Reagan's administration created lasers in space in the 80s. No, he didn't.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
faked it. It was all a
Yeah.
big propaganda, you know, bluff.
Mhm.
And it bankrupted the Russians because they obviously put a
Went
lot of
for
money
it.
and effort into trying to copy them. And, you know,
That's the only thing I
That's how-
don't get now is why there hasn't been a Russian leaker. You know, if the US faked going to the moon, why it hasn't? There hasn't like a corroborated Russian source. Do you know what I mean? Not just some guy that's got a YouTube channel.
yeah.
So
There's plenty of guys still alive who could easily say the Americans faked it.
Yeah.
Here's how they did it. There's plenty of guys still in Russia. They'll be in their
Plus
70s
Aldrin
and 80s.
did.
Yeah, I
Aldrin
remember that.
said they didn't go. That was weird.
That was a weird one. But the
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, he's an old man now. You just don't know.
He is an old man.
You know, if that's dementia. That was the little girl, wasn't it? She asked him a question and he said, that was
She
a
said,
weird one.
why haven't we been back to the moon? He said, that's what I want to know. And he said, and that's
But the thing is,
because we didn't go there.
Like, see, when you actually watch the press conference, the first big press conference they did once they came out of quarantine, they all look miserable.
Yeah.
You would think if, you know, they'd done what they'd done, they would be a little bit happier about it.
Or tired. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if there's something like you just fucking worn out, what have we done? You know, even you could use the excuse that, you know, all of a sudden they've got gravity to deal with again, but they don't seem tired. They don't seem like they've just done the most incredible thing that any human.
Well, they did effectively have the guts of a month inside, you know, quarantine. There was the initial like tight quarantine, like in a little caravan thing, and then they opened them up into a larger hospital area where they were. You know,
I was going to say, how
stuff.
long afterwards was that press conference?
It was at least a month, I think.
Yeah, so we've had a month. To play devil's advocate here, so if you have a month of just being in quarantine on your own or what have you, you might be a little fucked off.
Maybe,
yeah.
But that would make you more euphoric to come out and go, what we just did. I can't wait to tell you about it. The one for me is the stars. Is when one of the it's Patrick Moore, isn't it? I think Patrick Moore asks them about what they could see in the sky, because the whole idea of being on the moon was you've got no atmosphere and we should be able to see fucking right out into space. You should be able to
see the stars.
Yeah,
they'll not be recorded. I mean, that's one thing that does annoy me about like the stills and stuff like that. The way they'd be exposing for the astronauts, the stars
you wouldn't
be
see
recorded.
Them.
You would see them. But
when they asked the astronauts, though, didn't they? That's what I'm getting to.
But that being said, it really depends on where the sun was, because you've got to remember, as well as the fact that there's no atmosphere for looking at stars, there's also no atmosphere for the sun being there, which means they're getting full on, you know, irradiated. That's why they had gold color tinted visors.
It's not necessarily that they didn't see stars. It was the fact that none of them knew how to answer the question.
Yeah.
Because it was that one of the, I can't remember which one was asked about the stars, but he fumbled over it. Then someone else put it in.
It was Buzz. I remember the clip.
Yeah. And it was to me, it felt like somebody hadn't done that in the debrief. I'm sure in my head, because I don't think at least I don't think they went to the moon, and I don't think that what we saw of them going to the moon was real. I think if there was a debrief period, they would have been getting told, like, this is what you say, this is how we treat this.
Yeah.
These are probable questions you're going to ask, and I don't think anybody if anybody thought somebody was going to ask about stars. So at that point, they were just fucking riffing. They didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the other thing which creeps up in every other UFO documentary where Apollo's mentioned, which is they supposedly they're cut out their feed for 2.5 minutes, spoke to them through the medical channel or whatever, and said, there's UFOs on the edge of the crater.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's wild. Well, you see, that was always my thing. I wonder whether it was cut out because there was something up there, or
I'm going to go and shut the back door. Give me a wee minute, guys, okay? Because I'm freezing my ass off here.
I just did a big burp. Sorry.
Great, man. Would you say that you're definitely in the we didn't go, or we went, but what you saw wasn't
I
real?
don't know enough about the other moon missions, so let me put that straight for a kickoff. Yeah. All I believe is that the first moon mission, I don't know if we went at all. I don't know. That's it. But I just, what we saw, like the photographs and video, I don't think are real.
So you don't think they went, or you think they?
Do you know the other good one? The other good one is the video of the lander taken off. That is straight out of a fucking sci-fi film.
In what way?
The way it lifts up, all the colored like rainbowy particles that come off it. It's like something from fucking Doctor Who. It's
Please
like
go
what
to Gary Fong's YouTube channel. Thanks for the super chat, mate. I'll go check it out now.
I know Gary Fong. What's he been doing?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Actually, I know Gary.
Did he? Oh no, it's not. Is it? It's tomorrow? It's the 4th, isn't it? I thought it was the 5th today. I was going to say, sure, you didn't mean Guy Fawkes.
Is it the Gary Fong? Oh yeah.
What's Gary been up to? Chinese American guy? Is it the same Gary Fong we're talking about?
I mean, yeah, I've got Gary Fong's YouTube channel here. It seems to be all about the moon people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, he's switched plans because he used to be in it for photographic gear, unless it's a different Gary Fong.
I'm guessing there isn't a lot of Gary Fongs.
There's probably loads of Gary Fongs. Hold on, I'm curious now.
Yeah, me too. Well done, Matt. Whoever that guy was, he's just completely fucking derailed the thing.
Gary Fong, yeah, the light sphere. 173k I've got. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I know Gary Fong.
That is a shadow banned guy right there. If he's got 173k, he uploaded a video 3 weeks ago and got 419 views.
Oh, his moon video though has got 245,000. So don't worry too much.
God, what's been? I haven't followed Gary in like quite a few years now.
But look at his recent videos. The views are nothing. Like the views.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's done an expert analysis on the Hasselblad camera. So what the hell's he going on about? Gary's a bit of a character because he used to be a wedding photographer back in the 80s and 90s, and he's the guy that charged, well, it was all bull, but he purportedly charged like $1 million for shooting a wedding. That's how he got like famous. And he then quit his wedding business.
Stu, you know everybody.
I'm pretty well. I'm one of these
Do
people.
you know what is interesting? Sorry to put in. It's just because I'm looking at it here. What is interesting is that looking at the guy's videos, he does
Sony stuff in that.
Well, he's done a series which I now really want to watch. A CIA document about Project Stargate. I want to have a look at that. and that got like 59,000 views. That did well, and then everything else was like around 20, 17, 29. One like talk about magic eye and stuff. And
I
then
mean, I'll give the guy his due. He was into like blogging and doing a blog before anybody else, and he bought a injection molding company and made this product called the Light Sphere, which was a little plastic Tupperware thing that you would put on top of a flash strobe, and it kind of scattered and softened the light a little bit. It was a lot of shit, but it did what it did. But I mean, it made him extremely rich. And then,
what I find interesting about his views is that he's done this moon photographs expert analysis, which had 245,000 views 3 months ago, and like literally after that, his views haven't got over 869,000. Sorry, 869 views on the video after that, 912 after that, 1,900 on the one after that, 419 after that. After doing that big moon photographs one, his views have been in the fucking bin. That's weird.
He's obviously gone viral with that moon photographs video. I'll need to watch it.
Yeah, that's gone viral. But like, even if you look like the month before that, he was still kicking up 76,000, 29, 59,000.
I tell you something, from what I remember, he's lost a lot of viewers, because I'm pretty sure he was at least 500,000 views.
Subscribers. Wow.
Yeah, sorry, subscribers. But I mean, he had the most beautiful, it's Kelowna in British Columbia, am I right in saying that? On the west coast of Canada. And he had the most beautiful log cabin ranch house thing that sat out the view. I mean, if you actually flick down some of his videos, you'll see, I think his wife, Melissa, I think her name is, and the house burned down. It got absolutely torched in a fire, and he had to rebuild. And it was at that point I stopped sort of following him. But I mean, I've had quite a few conversations with him.
So his house got burnt down.
Yeah, like multi-million-pound house, infinity
and
pool.
And then you decided to unsubscribe.
No, it wasn't unsubscribed. It's just that
what a twat.
No, what it was every video was about his new house that he was building. It just got boring, and I just stopped following him after a while. The thing is, when I sold all my Sony camera gear, God, when now? When the iPhone 8 came out, and I went exclusively photographing and filming on the iPhone. So I was quite early to sort of make that jump compared to other people. Whereas now it's quite common, even for quite a lot of professionals, to be using just the iPhone. But oh my God, I'm just looking through his stuff here. He's written scripts and everything for Hollywood. He's got like an agent and stuff. He's a quirky guy, but I mean, I have to take my hat off to him. He's as successful as get out. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. Beautiful family as well. And there you go. Thanks, whoever that was that derailed the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at that tomorrow.
I definitely
I'll look at that. I haven't heard Gary's name in God years now. There you go.
See, he must have done. I don't want to risk playing it, but he must have said
the same thing might happen to your views.
Yeah, probably not Gary's copyright strike. Probably just the
algorithm.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with this video. I think they're going to get really confused. Should we put a Wikipedia of flat Earth? Should we put a Wikipedia? We should just give him them all.
Yeah.
The AI robots are going to freak out and go, oh, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
What can we talk about next that will also get a
what was that
Wikipedia link?
Kanye was talking about on Twitter?
What's what?
What was that group of people Kanye was talking about? Let's talk about
that. Yeah. That'll go down well. Or we could say the Titanic never sank. It was the Olympic.
Oh dear me. So Stu, we started the conversation of tonight. Ufology. I've only had 4 beers. Ufology. Why do we still love it? So why are you still in it?
Why am I still in it? I've only just got into it.
No, I mean as a just not. I know you're only just kind of getting into it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I've been into
doing
it, for
it,
years,
but
I mean,
what,
it's now become more of a professional interest than before.
so forget the professional interest.
I think it's because it's entertaining. There is always that slight, dangle of the carrot that we are not the only. I mean, we can't be the only people in the universe. Whether or not, I mean, I've got my own beliefs that you could go down the rabbit hole of. I personally think a lot of the stuff, and I'm talking about like the small percentage of sightings and stuff like that, I think like they're coming from under the water. I'm more into USOs than UFOs. I could.
Are we allowed to speak about that, Stu?
Sorry?
Are we allowed to talk about what may be upcoming at some point on the show?
Which one are we talking about? You've lost me.
The conversation about USOs. We were meant to be doing a show on that, aren't we?
Yeah. See, I believe in that more. I mean, the thing is, it's only. I mean, the figure that people band about is there's only 5% of the ocean's been explored. So a lot more than that has been surveyed, but there is only sort of a good 9 to 10% of the world's oceans have been really, explored in depth. That's a vast amount of land that's covered by water, where whole civilizations could be down there and you just have no clue.
It's not just that either. You've got to take into account the water that could be deeper than the ocean or within the Earth's crust. We talk about
definitely
hidden oceans underneath.
The thing is, I mean, they say there's the crust, the outer mantle, the inner mantle, and then the core. How do they know this? Well, they've used Doppler radar or whatever and sampled it. It's all just guessing. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's utter guesswork.
Yeah.
You have no clue what is. I mean, there's a woman, quite a reputable scientist, came up with quite a published paper saying that she reckoned there was not an iron core at the center of the Earth, but a very small black hole. And she's put data against it, and she published it, and it's getting peer reviewed. I can't remember her name. I came across it a couple of years ago when the pandemic first hit. But who knows? Because we've got no real proof.
No.
So yeah, there could be whole oceans. I mean, I'm not jumping down the whole, Admiral Byrd and hole in Antarctica, and there's a whole other civilization underneath. I'm not talking about that, but
why
there could be other oceans.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. But it's like
oceans.
I'm not going down the Admiral Byrd thing as well. But why not? Why couldn't it be a thing? If we've grown stuff on the outside, if there's holes inside, why couldn't there be more?
I mean, you've only got to look at octopuses, cephalopods, squid, all that kind of thing.
I won't eat them anymore. I will not eat octopus anymore.
Why?
Because they look like aliens.
I used to love it. Octopus used to be one of my favorite foods when I went to Spain.
Octopus or squid?
Yeah, I quite like squid.
Octopus. I like squid. I do like squid. Squid.
I'm not great. No, I've had octopus. I prefer
octopus.
Squid.
Is much nicer than squid. If it's cooked right. I won't eat that thing anymore.
Is that because the Japanese eat it live?
No, that's because I watched videos about the octopus and saw how intelligent that thing is, and I thought I can't eat that.
Very intelligent. They've got nine brains or something.
I'm going to tell you some shit about pigs if you don't want to eat octopus. They're smart as fuck.
Don't. I do like a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, don't tell me the orgasm for 20 minutes, because I heard that in a video the other night.
What's that? A pig orgasms for 20 minutes?
Supposedly. I've never seen it.
One of the things that
I mean, who's the guy that found that out?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Who was there with the stopwatch?
It's hopefully he wasn't just counting because he was getting pounded by a pig. Maybe it was David Cameron. Maybe he counted.
Yeah, that's right.
The you're fucked, mate. This is welcome to the last Alien Addict show. We might as well go all in, all in.
Man, you're going to get so demonetized for this.
One of the things I found interesting as I've grown up, especially being like a fucking honest conspiracy theorist, I suppose, is I always think back to school. I always think about being shown the cut out of the earth with the core and the mantle and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that from geography.
Being taught that as 100% fact, as in, like, we are 100% sure of this. This is what the inside of the Earth's like. And the other one,
I used to get into trouble a lot at school because my mum was a scientist, so I was always taught the scientific method and be skeptical and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I used to question my geography teacher constantly. Mr. Anderson was his name. My wife's probably watching this laughing up the stairs because she had him as well, because she was the year above me at school. And the guy was an idiot and he smelled really badly. But the stuff he used to come away with, things like, you know, the 100% correct that we definitely have, you know, a core, an inner mantle, an outer mantle, and all that kind of stuff, and a crust. Yeah, you used to get taught it that was gospel, and it's not.
Yeah, no. But the same as like the other one I always find weird is just how much I reckon I did fucking more about Egyptology, but than any other period of history. I found it really weird how I don't know if it still is because I'm not a school kid, but how heavy that was on the syllabus when I was there. And again, we got textbooks of them pulling big stones with fucking hundreds of slaves up wooden sleds.
They still teach that. My kid went to the local museum and they had all this sort of Egyptology stuff there and examples of hieroglyphics and stuff like that. And it's the same bullshit. Yeah. It's maybe slightly less so because, again, I was there as like an adult, you know, parent helper. And I was standing next to one of the other primary teachers saying, "You're telling me that 10,000 slaves did that in 20 years?" She's like, "Yeah."
Quarrying and laying a stone every 6 seconds or something.
Seconds, yeah.
Just like that. Oh, I mean, even the one that really blew my mind, which I still think will go down, is unless I get told something equally as fucking mind blowing, was that the death of Cleopatra was closer to the release of the first iPhone than it was to the building of the pyramids.
That's right.
They were old as fuck when Cleopatra was around.
Yeah, they've been around. I mean, she was only like 2,000 or less than 2,000 years ago.
Oh, I know, but you always just think of you think of that whole Egypt thing as being like, as being like one.
Right, what else can we talk about to totally trash the channel for the night?
Kanye's things.
Oh, that's a conversation I'm just not having. As Ollie disappears into the distance.
I watched him on Lex Friedman.
There's a way to wreck your career.
Do you know what? I feel bad for Kanye.
Crazy watch.
Like,
just be careful.
No. I'm not going to say anything about what he was talking about, but I just find it really weird that all these people that care so much about people's mental health don't care until it's the famous black guy. That guy's clearly got mental health problems. Like, you know, it's for whatever it is, there was times, because I watched Lex Friedman podcast as well. There was times when Lex was speaking to him, and I thought Lex was fucking amazing. He was respectful.
Is this Lex Friedman that usually goes on Rogan a lot?
Yes, yeah.
Did he have Kanye on, right? Didn't know that.
Yeah, respectful, listened when he was essentially listening to fucking ridiculous ramblings. And there was times Kanye West was like, it was like a child was talking. And I don't know whether that's a mixture of someone that's just been medicated too much. I don't know whether it's a mixture of somebody that's got like some sort of severe mental issue.
It was so difficult to listen to. Yeah. It was like,
or it's the
See, I've
case
never
of
liked Kanye as a person, and I've never liked his music. You know, I love Jay-Z, I love Eminem, I love that whole era of hip hop and that. But Kanye stuff, you know, with Jamie Foxx and all that kind of stuff, and the later stuff, I just don't get it.
yeah, I'm not huge on any of that, but I like some of it, bits and bobs. But I think the other one is when you've got someone that's so wealthy, so so culturally relevant and culturally important. All you're going to get is people that, if you speak to them, they're going to go, "Oh my God, speak more, Kanye. Just tell me what you think, and I will believe it." And I think you can
It just
just
didn't make
buy
sense,
into
did it,
that.
mate? It didn't make
No.
whatever was coming out of his
It's
whatever was
good.
coming out of his mouth. It's interesting.
Difficult to listen to. It's difficult.
Honestly,
but
you
it's
need.
worth watching.
I mean, I
Is
don't
this
smoke.
still kind of the backlash of him getting divorced and that?
I don't.
Has that affected him? And I don't know. I know very
If
little
you can
about
listen to it and make head or tail of it, I couldn't. I was tidying the kitchen, doing stuff around the house at the time, and I was listening to it in the background. And I mean, I'll give Lex Friedman his dues. He held the conversation, which I don't know how he understood the conversation.
No, I don't know.
But he held it.
Tanya and
Held it
Rogan was
well.
the worst Rogan podcast. Like Lex Friedman did a better job of dragging an interview out of Kanye West than Joe Rogan did.
Rogan's. I love listening to Rogan, not just for the UFO stuff. I do like listening to all his podcasts. But Rogan as an interviewer, when something like that happens, just falls apart. He can't maintain a conversation if it goes down that kind of route. Whereas Friedman's, I think I've got a lot more sort of book smarts about him.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Whereas Rogan's very much street smarts, you know.
Yeah,
He's a great guy. I mean, I find him entertaining and all that, but I've seen quite a few of his podcasts whereby it's kind of gone downhill rapidly if the guest isn't holding their own.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just like us tonight. Oh dear.
There you go. That's a good. Well, it's literally coming up. Well, it's 2.5 hours.
I've only been here for an hour.
I've just realised. I'm thinking, what is going on with the views here? The views, and I thought it was you, Stu. I thought since Stu joined, it just all fucked off, but it's not. It's because Rich went live.
Yeah, because he's got a time difference at the moment.
Yeah.
Because their daylight savings isn't until this weekend or next weekend, is it not?
Yeah. So Rich was meant to be coming on tonight. So for everybody out there, me and Rich have not fallen out.
He was in the chat for a while.
Yeah. And he said to me tonight, he said, "Are you going an hour later?" And I said, "No." I'm thinking, what's he talking about? I thought he just slept or something. And he's like, "You're an hour later." And I said, "No, I'm not." And then I'm thinking, oh,
clocks went back.
Clocks went back. But I honestly thought that shit happened everywhere. Probably not.
No. Far from it.
That would be so much easier.
There's parts of America, like different states, where the clocks won't go back like at the same time as like Florida. He's in Florida, so they'll be like the West Coast guys will not go back for another week after that or something. It's nuts how they do it.
Should be on the same time. It should.
Yeah, daylight savings time was great during an agrarian society, but no, we don't need it now.
Anyway, boys.
Right.
I am Stu Little. You are not in the description because I didn't know you were coming on. However,
I didn't know I was coming on. I was just happily moderating the channel.
I will add Stu to the description, who is making a fantastic documentary about Stephen Greer. But you know what they say? If you do it slowly, it'll be more enjoyable. Isn't that
Did it say
right,
that?
ladies?
Okay. I will take that.
I thought the
That's
same
my
was if you do it slowly, they won't wake up.
There you go, Lee. That's your cue. And what's coming up next for you, my friend?
There'll be the second part of the interview with Orphan Red about the flat Earth one. And like you after when you left and Dave left, it was just the two of us. Like we went fucking deep on stuff that I get
Oh,
you banned
all right,
on,
mate.
fucking deep on stuff that will get you banned on YouTube. Which I might as well talk about now because you're going to be demonetized anyway. And
How deep, Lee? How deep?
oh, fucking knee deep. So that will be up this week, probably Wednesday. The second half of that podcast will be up.
I can't wait to listen to the second half of that because I left because I was.
I'm gonna have to watch the first. I'll listen to the first half now.
It's good. It was good. I enjoyed it. We've got you, myself, and Dave have Hidden Underbelly coming on the podcast on Sunday. That's going to be really good. I think he's another person I want to speak to about stuff that he can't say on YouTube as well. So yeah, that'll be nice. I'll enjoy that. So yeah, just go and subscribe to my podcast, or I'll tell your mum that you weed on a cat.
Don't weed on a pussy.
And
Right
on
then.
that note,
Right then, people. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite and all that jazz. And if you've just found that I'm live right now and there shouldn't be live, then
bye.
I've got new merch and it's only for Christmas. Don't come round here with your big bollocks. And don't ask me why there's a flying tic-tac with the Santa hat. But I would have done Blake with the Santa hat, but I don't know if Blake would have liked that. Should have done that.
No.
You'd have got a lawyer's
I could have given him half the profits of it, for the 3 people who buy a t-shirt. He may have been.
Is that what Lee and I are getting for Christmas now?
Well, one of these. They don't do baseball caps, which I'm quite peeved off about. But yeah, the link is in the description.
Don't do baseball caps.
No, I think I'm going to change people. I'm going
Hmm.
to change it, but the quality is apparently good of these guys. They just
Which one's which one is it of the
Teespring.
companies?
The
Teespring.
Teespring.
I've used Teespring before.
I don't have merch on my channel yet.
No, I've took all my merch down. I've took
Yet.
all my merch down, and I keep meaning to Ollie saying I'd like us to design some merch for Musty Audio, Mr. Oliver. So I've remembered to ask you now.
There you go, mate. I'll sort you something out. I will design you something. Right, people. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. I am Alien Addict. This is I Am Stu Little. And Lee, Musty Audio.
Ciao.
Hey, folks.
Tune in next Friday, 10 p.m. GMT. But what time would it be Eastern if there's been a time? It's either going to be 9 or 10. I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, Ollie.
Look it up.
Ollie, what's
It's
the
a good time to-
difference? What's the difference between a baby and a bag of cocaine?
I don't know.
Eric Clapton would never let a bag of cocaine fall out of a window.
Oh, my God.
I've
Get
heard
ready
that
for
one
that
before.
Wikipedia.